All right. I think we got small enough. If you just want to unmute, maybe we can just answer them directly. Anybody with any questions about the challenge?
Yeah, I had a question about the building the rovers themselves. Are they to come up with a design on their own, or is there going to be requirements for the rover? Like it needs a lever and 6 wheels, or is that not important?
It's not important. So whatever works for your students with the Lego Mindstorm is good. We do hope that there's some innovation, so it might look a little bit like the Mars 2020 rover, but it's not required.
Okay.
Let's see. Michelle Stella wanted to know, we just started the challenge. Kids are having an interesting time finding signs of life outdoors this year. So thank you. Yes, I'm glad that you guys are working the challenge. We did want them to actually understand exactly what they're doing in a mission type configuration. So thanks for working with your kids. Alicia says that would like to verify the size of the communication tower. The manual says 12 inches diameter or maximum lengths. That means that the area on the map is, if I've got it right, is 12 inches. You can be smaller than that and you can be as tall as you want. It just has to be stable. And we just did that because when we're doing the challenge in April, some of you guys probably will slip into May, but April is the 50th anniversary of Apollo 13, and we wanted to acknowledge ingenuity. So we wanted the kids to have a chance of trying to put something together rapidly in the nick of time. And it just has to fit within, it's actually a round circle, if I remember, rather than a square box though. So it just has to fit within that. And my staff can correct me if I misremembered the map.
Two things. Oh yes, hi Dr. Wingley. 2 things I wanted to ask. One thing, a bit of housekeeping. The My Flight team, these students who have been assigned are through a partnering nonprofit youth program. They are a mixed 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade program. I think they, I believe, having worked with these kids for a long time, they're both ready to take on, to be part of a Spirit team. Is that okay?
Yes, I think the way we designed it was that the student in the highest grade picks what division you're in. And if you want to go up to the higher division like Spirit, then yes, you're more than welcome to do that. Just remember though that if for some reason your students win the prize, we can only send kids that are 11 years or older to the NASA Center. So that's a requirement for the NASA Center. It's just that there's a lot of little kids, and we can't be responsible.
That's understood and appreciated. The other thing, right quick, have the extra EV3 and quadrocopter drone robots that are available on loan through, let's say, the Stennis Center down in Mississippi, have they all been distributed? The ones that could be potentially on loan, because yeah, my kids meet all the requirements. They're all free and lunch eligible, underrepresented minority students.
So if you contact Maria there, the hub director.
Sorry, who? Maria? Maria is the person I need to ask.
Yes. But if you can't get a response from her, just let us know. We've got a lot of teens, but we clearly want to make sure that we're reaching underserved and underrepresented communities. So if you don't get any response from the hub lead, so if you go to the website and look under hubs, there should be a contact information for the leads. If you can't, then we'll make something happen. All right.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Let's see. Alicia wanted to know for the opportunity division, does the challenge end right after they place the Lego simulating the probe in the soil, or do they need to navigate? No, it finishes when you put your probe into the soil, their pseudo probe into the soil, and that's it. Okay, they don't need to go back to the certain end position. And that's sort of simulating the actual Mars 2020. Is they're just going to go uphill, they're not going to return back to it. We'll also check for you, Charlie, about what the status of the gear that we've sent to Stennis. Like I said, we're working with 25 hubs, so it's a little bit overwhelming, but we'll definitely get our act together on that one.
We understand, Doctor. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Alicia asked, yeah, we already did the communication tower. All right. Any other questions? River Gold Elementary, I think you're talking to us, but I can't hear you. You're muted. There you go. Now I can hear you. Oh, you muted. I lost you. You're muted again, River Gold.
Sorry, I'm new to the Zoom app here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, can.
Okay. Have you any new news about the virtual hub for the Northern California area? Because we do have a lot of hub-specific questions with materials, but also the competition being a virtual competition and having the Mars backdrop and how all that's going to work. We don't really have a contact, I don't think.
Yeah, so you can contact me for those questions. What we'd like to suggest for the virtual is we can't send a mat out to each area because the cost would be prohibitive. What we'd like to suggest is that you build your map. Let me just take that back. If there is a critical mass of teams in an area, we might be able to spring for a map. Okay, so I'll have to do some analysis and again, ping me about the specifics of the question. If there's only a couple of teams in your area, then what we would suggest is that you build your own map. There are instructions in the manual. We recommend that you use a set of just foam boards for the map. So you can buy 8x4 foam boards, and then you can just tape them together, and that actually will produce a surface. And this is actually true for all of you. If you don't have your own operating map, we found that putting a map surface for it of these foam boards gives you the same response as far as we can tell as the actual map itself. So you get, and it's a good exercise for your students to actually learn how to build up a graph. It's basically graphing on a two-dimensional graph, building it. If you can't, on our website, Seattle Map and Design can, you can order that from them. That the information there is also on our website, and so they can be purchased for it as well. All right.
Okay.
Oh, and going back to the, sorry, you're breaking up.
Would we just prepare our own samples for them to test during the challenge also?
Yes, you would prepare that. And what we intend to do is we will set up the virtual challenge exactly the same as we're doing in the physical challenge, insofar as your teams will have a 15-minute on-deck time to talk to us virtually, basically what we're doing today by Zoom. We do recommend that your teams maybe have 2 cameras operating so that we can get, you know, a close-up maybe, as well as a more distant view of the challenge as you guys are operating it. Our staff here will judge you remotely from it. And so you'll have the 15 minutes on deck time plus 12 minutes of operation time for the challenge, and we'll score accordingly. Does that work for you?
Yeah, and one last question about the MBLs. Are we still recording information in those even though we're turning them in after the mini challenges that we've done?
The MBLs, what does that mean? Sorry.
The mission log, are we done as of now with those since we completed the Search for Life challenge, or do we continue to put stuff about the satellites and everything in there?
We want you to continue on the log. I think as an educator, you probably want the kids to learn how to write and document things. So the assumption was that you'd continue with the mission log until, you know, taking it through the design process of building the lander, working with the program. So those kinds of things we'd like the kids to continue to work with.
Great.
Let's see. Guys are speeding through the questions. How important are the add-on pieces for the map? They're not that important at all. We put the add-on pieces to make the map look more three-dimensional. I was just wanting a little bit more aesthetically looking process. So long as you stay out of the black areas, it's the same thing. So the add-on pieces aren't necessary. Does the mini drone need to ride on the rover during the challenge and take off from the rover or take off from the table? And I think maybe I goofed on this, that I didn't make it explicit. We'd like the mini drone to stay on the rover until you at least collect 1 or 2 of the samples. And then once you've collected your samples, anytime after, you will take off from the rover into the crater. And I'm not too sure if any of my hub directors are. We've got some cutouts for the, that's the only place where the cutout is important, is to take an image. But if you don't have the cutout pieces, just put an image of something inside the black crater. So to see whether, and have it pointing away from the student so they have to rotate around and get the camera and see whether they can actually take an image with the small drones. I have played with the small drones. They're really stable, and actually I think I made it too easy because the drones that we've suggested for the mini drones are really nice, easy, stable, and have a nice little camera on it. But it is trying to get the students to be aware that these drones can be used as a remote sensing instrument. And that's how NASA is using them. Christina wanted to point out the MDL submission protocol is dependent on your hub. And so there might be some directions in the supplemental manuals that will be posted shortly. Other questions? All right, then I appreciate your presence here, and I will definitely look at what's gone out to the hubs. I think some hubs have been waiting for teams to consolidate, and so we will be querying them shortly. And Charlie, just you make sure that you ping us, and we'll see what we can do for you. So thank you. And again, you know, the equipment, I should say, if we send directly to you, is considered a loaner insofar as if you're a one-shot wonder team and not going to participate next year, you should return it to us. But if there is a long-term relationship between your school and the challenges, then we're open for you guys keeping the equipment. Okay, so that, you know, we can have a sustained relationship. So that's what we'd like. Charlie, you're still unmuted.
I said yes, and understood, Doctor, and we'll sign away. I'll accept all liability for the equipment and everything, and we have a good place to keep it safe in the meanwhile.
All right, then I might actually ask Christina if you could send us your information about how to get the gear out. Then we'll try and organize something in the very near future.
Yes, I'll email you and Maria and Christina. Yes.
Thank you much. Okay, there's no other questions. Thank you, everybody, for your time, and look forward to your continued participation in the challenge.
Okay.
Thank you all. So we can stop recording.